So today we're going to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We're now on episode 45 of the series, and in the last episode we saw the last of the Norwegian and Welsh decolonization in Africa, and we also saw some unions take place over here in Italy and the southern French coast, which was pretty cool. And I don't remember anything else that happened last episode. I'm pretty sure this happened last episode. I might be mixing it up with the episode before that, but I don't care anymore. Oh yeah, and this guy got independence from the Turkish Union, so that's fun. And yeah, let's get started with what's gonna happen in this episode. And I'm just gonna start off saying that this is gonna be the final episode of the Great Depression, cause as we may or may not be entering a new era of work. So, and by the way, the year is like 1962, 3, around there. Yeah, let's get started. Now, if you remember from last episode, where this union happens, the yellow half of the union did not want the Libyan colony, and the green team respected that, and so they promised that they were going to decolonize after the union was established. So that's what's going to be happening right now. I'm just realizing how close the Algerian capital is to the Libyan colony. So I may or may not be gonna give like Algeria a tiny province or so the capital isn't as cooked. But yeah, let's get on to the decolonization. So first off, I'm gonna give Algeria this one Libyan province, and now let's actually get to the decolonization. So first off, we see the Carthage/Tunisian country return for the gazillionth time. Like, these guys are the William Afton of the series, like the Poland of the series. Like, they keep dying and coming back. It's crazy. Now we have a dark green Saharan country over here in the southern part of the Libyan colony. And now we have a fan favorite country returning. Tripolitania is back. But for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna call them Libya. Like, to represent that this is like the successor state. Like, it's almost the exact same, but to just differentiate it a bit, I'm just gonna call it Libya. Think of it as like like Zaire and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Think of it as like that. This country's now Libya. And yeah, there's the Italian decolonization. I hope you guys like it. And oh, in India, remember that like terrible leader that is governing horribly in India? Well, the Indian government still somehow hasn't found a replacement for him. And the Bangladeshi side of the union is like, bruh, are we serious? Come on. But the dude is gonna still be in power, and he's gonna make some horrible policies, not as in like they are like torturing people or something. No. It's more of like, say that they just implement some policies that are just really bad and just hurt the country. And now the quote-unquote colonies or territories of India and Africa are like, are we serious? Bruh, nah, we're done. We're done here. Adios. Well, the Mozambican one specifically says that. The Somalian one can't yet, as they are closely linked with India's core. but the Indian leader is gonna let the Mozambique colony go, which is gonna inspire even more stuff in Somalia, and that's when you know that this leader's just done for. Yeah, let's see the decolonization of Mozambique. And interestingly enough, the Mozambique colony actually governed itself pretty well. And you know, like that big brownish thing that came out of the Dutch's colony and like ages ago, it's kind of like that here. Like it governed itself very well, and so it was easier to just let it go as one thing. And so yeah, Mozambique gets even more independence. And okay, this is the last time I'm gonna talk about decolonization in this episode, because I imagine you guys are tired of me blabbering on, but just bear with me. The Irish, seeing that everybody is decolonizing, they're like, well, it's probably our time to do so, and now Ireland is going to be adapting articles of decolonization. So they're going to be letting go of their South African territory and their oceanic territory. Well, yeah, let's see how this kind of this gets independence. Why it took me so long to find a word for that? And first off, in the South African decolonization, we have a Botswana country, a barely Botswana country, and we have a Cape country. Actually, I'm just gonna call this country South Africa and this one the Cape country, so that's easier for me to remember. So yeah, all of Africa is almost decolonized. Still waiting on you, India, and kind of the Turkish Union, but a lot of this is more core territory, except like maybe like this area, but I'll get to that later. And in the end, the decolonization of the oceanic territory looks like this. The bluish Queensland country actually gained some land out of this. They got some of the former Red Team colony lands, as Ireland thought that they should have rightfully had it from the start, since they were part of the original colony. And we have this orange Australian country, and we have this Timor-Leste Empire Earth thing going on here. And we have two Papua New Guineas, north and south instead of west and east like it is in real life. Now we have a Bougainville country, a Solomon Island country, a shriveled Vanuatu country, a New Caledonia country, a Fiji country, and a tiny little Samoa country. So yeah, that's always cool. Next up, we're gonna be moving to South America, specifically Colombia, because yikes. Yeah, Colombia is now a red stability. Yeah, Colombia should not have taken those Central American countries in like that. May see how worse this is gonna turn out for them in a future episode, but for now, let's move on. Next up, we're going to be updating the Turkish Union's nuclear numbers. They are gonna go from 15 nukes to 31 nukes. Again, not mass producing it yet, but they started to ramp it up a little bit just for defense. And something interesting is going to happen this episode because a new country is actually going to develop their first nuke. That country being none other than India. And by the way, their nuclear program was developed before that the horrible guy up into power, so he actually just decided to was like, you guys just keep doing what you're doing. I'm just not gonna mess anything up anymore. And they're like, yay! So India's gonna develop their first nuke. Well, not actually. They're gonna have 3 nukes, as they just made 3 to start off instead of 1. Yeah, I don't know what else to add here. Next up, Arabia is at it again, and they have the orange Saudi Arabian country on their dinner plate, as Arabian troops have now entered into the Saudi Arabian country, and this is gonna be Arabia's toughest opponent yet, since the orange country, I would say, is like, imagine that Arabia's strength is for example a 67, and the orange country is a 40. Yeah, that's kind of the comparison that I'm gonna be doing here. Well, didn't mean to do that. And yeah, let's see how this is gonna turn out, since the orange country is actually gonna fight back for once. So the Arabian forces are going to move in and start to make approaches to the capital of the Saudi Arabian country. But over here, the general of this country actually manages to push in some troops over here, forcing these like troops over here into the Turkish Union, and the Turkish Union arrest these and bring them back to the orange country, where they are imprisoned. And Arabia's like, dude, not cool. It's not like something like this haven't caused a world war in a different Lixo series. No, that definitely not. But yeah, the orange country is going to continue to push back Arabia over here, but in the south it's still not going as well, as Arabia is now pushing some troops in over here to have this major city be better defended. But something bad is actually going to happen to Arabia for once, as the orange country pushes in and actually captures this major city. And like I said, the orange country is not messing around, and they are actually going to stand up for once. And so they are going to push back some of the Arabian forces over here. And if you're wondering, how is the orange country actually defending itself so well? Like, sure, it's a 40, but they should have at least gone a bit more rolled over by Arabia right now. It may or may not be because they are getting funded by a certain country, which I'm not going to name out loud. And no, it's not the Turkish Union, because the Turkish Union has plans of their own over here. But the Arabians are not just going to allow the orange team just waltz on over here and actually beat them. Arabia is going to hammer a bunch of troops over here and hope to cut off this country. And to the surprise of Arabia, they actually did. They were just hoping for the best here, and they thought that this wouldn't work. But now they were going to capture the capital on the side, and this area is completely cut off from the rest of the orange team. And then the Turkish Union starts doing this. And India is going to immediately call them out on this, and they're like, hey, why are you doing this? You shouldn't do this, says India. And the Turkish Union is like, whoa, why are you getting so defensive about this country? It's just your average Joe invading your average country. and they're like, well, we may or may not have been funding this country so they could be Arabia. And the Turkish Union is like, that checks out. So can you maybe stop? And India's like, no. If an actual competent leader was in India, they would probably have said, all right, we'll back down. This is a lost cause. But the stupid leader is still in power. They haven't found someone to replace him yet. So, funding for this country is still ongoing. And at this point, it's like, why? You know this country's already gonna, lose this war. And, this just shows that India needs a new leader ASAP. But this guy just won't go away, no matter how hard they try. If you want to know, there's probably been many assassination attempts on this guy, but he keeps just surviving somehow. And you guys can make up a name for this guy in the comment section. And by the way, I'm talking normal again since I got tired of trying to do that deeper voice. So I'm just gonna talk like I normally do again. Sorry, Sasa. But yeah, this country is done. Like, you could say they are done. Well, yeah, now let's take a look at this peace treaty. Arabia is not too fond of Turkish Union joining on their invasion. Arabia would have liked all of their country, but they're gonna have to begrudgingly split with the Turkish Union. So yeah, let's take a look at this peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we see that you might think that the Turkish Union got cheated out of a lot of land here, when in reality it's kind of the opposite. The Turkish Union got 2 major cities, while Arabia just got the capital. So yeah, in the end, the division is like this: boom, boom. And the orange country is no more. I actually kind of liked that country and how it looked, but oh well. No time to dwell. So yeah, that country has been erased. Next up, these two countries are actually going to be uniting under one, as they share a lot of the same culture and ethnicity, and they are both in the same economical alliance. And at that point, it's just let them unite. And I'm gonna call this country, this union, Volga. Yes, this is gonna be Volga. Now, what color to choose? I like how these two colors stand out. So maybe a lighter combination. How about that? Ew, no, that looks ugly. I like this color. I'm gonna keep it like that. And wow, I really like the shape of this country. I was not expecting to like the shape of this country that much, but I'm rocking with it. The last not super major event that I want to talk about is the unification between Mexico and Texas. These two countries, they have the same ideals. They have a lot of the same culture. They also have a lot of similarities, and they both like democracy a lot. That should have happened a long time ago to do that. But yeah, they both like democracy and the idea of it, which is why they are one. But yeah, they're going to be uniting. And the union is gonna look like this. And they're gonna place their capital in a brand spanking new location, which is, looking at the distance, I think the logical choice would be right here, since it's like a middle ground between those two cities. So we'll get rid of that, and boom, we got the Mexican Union. But I'm gonna call these guys something else when they expand, so for now I'm just gonna call these guys Mexico. Yeah. And by the way, I hate this border, so I'm going to give a Californian province over to Mexico. Okay, it's gonna be a bit bigger than anticipated, but I can live with that. Sorry to all you California fans out there, if there is any. But that border just looked too bad. I had to. And let me just take off the province layer, and oh my god, it looks so much better already. Oh. California actually looks a bit better, actually. Okay, maybe that one is more debatable, but with this new border, it's making this border now look a lot more blobby, so I'm gonna fix that one too. There, that is a lot better. And North America is now starting to look more fun. And the last time of this video before the big one, like what marks the end of the Great Depression, aside from the end of the crisis in the stock market itself, is the Alaskan invasion of Utah. Now, why is Alaska doing this? Well, A, they're imperialists, they want land, and Exhibit B, these guys are, I'll just show you the stability layer. Yeah. Yeah, they are fine, but Alaska is not doing so good. So they're thinking, hey, if we get this country, maybe we'll improve our stability. Fun fact, the capital is off-centered. And fun fact number 2, I was originally gonna make Alaska invade Oregon, but then I realized that border would look horrible, so I'm making them invade Utah instead. And by the way, I think I forgot to pause for a moment. Yeah. So, Alaskan troops, that's the wrong layer. Alaskan troops enter into Utah, and they quickly surround the Salt Lake and make a spearhead over to this major city. Then they wrap around and cut off the western area of Utah, and they're working from 2 spearheads to capture the major city, and they do, prompting the Utah country into a swift and quick surrender. And I'm not even gonna pause for this because you guys already know how this is gonna turn out. Oh wow, they fully annexed Utah. Who would have guessed? Not me. Not me. Me when I lie. And now I'm realizing that this border also looks weird. Oregon may or may not be cooked. Now, for the last event of this video, it's gonna have something to do with Somalia. Remember when I said I would talk about that later? Well, now is the time. And now is the time to talk about it, as Somalian rebellions are happening over here. I'm gonna call this country Ethiopia and this Somalia so you don't get confused. And also, by the way, Tanzania, Tanganyika. Okay? Okay. So, this rebellion swiftly cuts off the entranceways to this area, but with guerrilla warfare tactics, it manages to hold out till this lake. So, yeah. They also cut off the access to the ocean, and India, after a long while, finally managed to get rid of the leader who messed up everything. And weirdly enough, though, this is the first time that the sole leader of the Indian Union isn't Indian. It's actually Bengali. But yeah, this guy is the type of president that can actually get the job done. So they are going to make a naval landing on this rebellion, and they also fully take Socotra, and they also make swift gains with this rebellion. And I'm just realizing that I hadn't had the major city layer turned on. That's my bad on that one for bad storytelling. But yeah, this area, after a long while, falls to the rebellion, and so does this area. It now just leaves the naval front, and India is, India are going to make swift gains with this rebellion, but after a while, they are forced to stop because something not very nice is found in there, as Turkish weapons and supplements are found within this rebellion, and India's like, dude, are we serious, dude? And the Turkish Union's like, I mean, we are anti-colonialist after all. I mean, we did let go of our Ethiopian territory, so we're planning this before your new leader was put into power to like kind of make him be shown incompetent so that you guys would have our new president. And then he's like, oh, and this is your way of doing it? Bruh. And then he was not having any of it. But after a while, due to pressure, India is forced to back down from the Somalian and Horn of Africa coast. But on the peace treaty, they are promised that they'll get to keep Socotra, which is always good. But yeah, the Somalians are getting their rebellion, and well, they're getting their independence. Why do I have to say it like that? So yeah, let's take a look at this peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, Somalia gains independence. The western half of the rebellion decided to join Ethiopia since they thought they would have a better time there. And India's like, you had to take land out of this. Really? Oh my god, that's it. You're done. We're done with you. after the thing with Persia and Madagascar and just other stuff, like we are done. We are done with you. Seriously. Good talk, but not really. And bye bye. And the Turkish Union is like, well, screw you. I'm cutting ties too. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how we start the early stages of the Cold War. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Please leave a like and subscribe, smash the notification bell, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye bye.